Luciano is the #1 Dutch player and number 38 in the world, and when I was scrolling through the recommended tab on YouTube, I saw a CPOL upload to see he had set a 1000 PP play. At that point, I knew that there was some talent that needed to be shone in the spotlight, especially because he is an established player inside of the top 50 with no information or story about him. This is the story of Luciano. Let's start with Luciano's beginnings. He first came across the game through his sister, since she played the game way before he did. So in 2017, after he was shown the game, he finally decided to try out the game in 2018 after contemplating a lot, and he has continued to play the game ever since. Currently, Luciano is a keyboard and mouse player who uses the Logitech G502 mouse, since he says, quote, "That is the only mouse I am able to play Osu with." So, he has used that mouse throughout his whole duration of playing the game. His current sensitivity is 1.75 in-game with 400 DPI. His keyboard at the time was the HyperX Alloy Origins. When he was just starting out, we can see a massive spike down in play count from May 2018 to July 2018. Why? This was actually because he used to play on a laptop, and the hard drive for it broke. So he would just play Fortnite on his PlayStation until he got a new hard drive for the laptop. After this, he would set his first 100 PP play on Friendzoned, Slade's Insane, on the 14th of March 2018, and his first 300 PP play on Santasun, on the 18th of October 2018. As we can see from these plays, Luciano was a no-mode player that mainly played jumps and consistency maps. With a relatively normal improvement from setting his first 100 to 300 PP only taking him less than a year, this was a telltale sign that he was eager to improve at the game. However, as time passed, things would change as he approached the game differently. By that, I mean instead of practicing and honing one skill set to improve on, he would instead take a complete 180 and slowly but surely set his footing into all skill sets to ensure he had a foundation as a consistent player when it was time to make his way up the rankings. Until there were two minor hiccups in his Osu journey. Firstly, when Luciano was newer to the Dutch Osu community, he felt like he was being bullied and being made fun of, which is just sad honestly. Thankfully, he never let those losers get in his way of enjoying the game and continuing to improve at it. Plus, look at him now, he is in the top 50 ranks where they will never be. For the final bit of drama, he would actually get restricted. Yes, restricted. But the reasoning behind this restriction was not that serious, as he submitted a score on someone else's account and was shortly banned after. You can see the drop in playtime from September 2019 to October 2019, yet he still managed to get playtime out in August and at the end of October, the day he got unbanned. After these minor inconveniences, he would set his first 500 PP play on Can You Understand Me with hidden double time on the 23rd of January 2020. His first 600 PP play on Chikato Chica Chica hidden double time on the 15th of August 2020. And finally, his first 700 PP play on Horrible Kids 3 mod on the 6th of October 2020. Unfortunately, there are no replays for these scores, but there is a Twitch clip for his Horrible Kids play. However, even though this was his first 700 PP play, he technically had 3 since this was nerfed post rework. And his other 700 on Seijoki no Piro FCing with Hard Rock, that was also nerfed. And finally, his quote true first 700 PP play on Defenders with Hard Rock. I feel as if it is important to mention that recently Luciano plays tablet for fun sometimes and has been setting 600 PP plays and nearing 700 PP scores doing so. He uses the CTH 680 with a tablet area of 95mm with a force aspect ratio. He would end up setting some 600 PP plays more recently with the tablet, however he felt more comfortable on mouse, hence the current playstyle. And also because he legit bought 6 of the same mouse for the sole reason of playing Osu comfortably. Now that we have established his playstyle, challenges, and earlier plays, let's look at Luciano's main skill set. Now looking at his top plays, we can see that his DT scores are the most apparent, yet he plays a lot of different things and he tries to stay well-rounded and consistent. For people seeking advice to improve at any skill sets in Osu, Luciano believes that playing what you like is the most important factor, as with time, you tend to play more and eventually get better. He also suggests playing DNB maps, and that's where most of his good scores come from. After some time, Luciano would set his first 800 PP play on remote control with double time on the 14th of February 2022, getting what to this day is still the highest accuracy DTFC on the map for 859 PP, which got buffed in the most recent rework to 868. This is still one of his favorite scores, just for it being on such an iconic map with that accuracy. His first 900 PP play was on Kakurembo with hidden double time on the 6th of December 2022, which was in fact an unfortunate one miss choke. Luciano achieved the score after 10 months since he got his first 800. He felt super capped during this time period and didn't think he would be able to get a 900 at the time. Thankfully, he was able to break through this hard time and push his skill cap to ultimately continue and improve. Right before we look at his sad 1k choke and his first 1000 PP play, let's look at the recent upgrades to his setup that helped him improve his performance in game. Luciano says that whenever he receives an upgrade to his setup, he can recognize the effect it has on him and his performance. For example, when he switched over to a 240Hz monitor, he could visibly read AR11 more easily. And when he switched from the HyperX Alloy Origins to the Wooting keyboard, he uses both the Wooting 60HE and the Wooting 2HE, the full-size version. Wooting, please send me a keyboard. Come on. Anyways, let's look at a sad 1000 PP choke on Primastello with DT on the 27th of March 2023, where he would unfortunately get the Rafis curse and get the 999 PP play, because he unfortunately missed on the jumps right before the ending section. It could have been 1k, but there was actually a slider in dropped, and the final slider of the map actually dropped it under 1k. Luciano said, quote, "I am never accepting this tragedy." However, this sadness would shortly fade when he would get an absolutely insane score on Kanjo no Matenro World's End Extra Stage with Nightcore and a 98.81 accuracy FC with 1022 PP on the 15th of August 2023. This score is unfathomable. Out of all people to get this 1000 PP score, Luciano? I mean, we had contenders like Ciccone, who had already FC'd the map prior with DT just with a lower accuracy, and then Shimon, who had a one slider break run but with the lowest accuracy as well. This just shows Luciano's underrated potential for being one of the best consistency players that this game has ever seen. Finally, let's look at Luciano's idols that he looks up to. Luciano says he doesn't have any idols that he looks up to necessarily, but just players that he finds interesting. An example being the Cushvan Man, as Luciano admires his amount of dedication, drive, and desire to put a lot of time and effort into the scores he sets. This player reminds him of himself.
Yeah.
Not only does Luciano look at players that he finds interesting, but also friends and players that give him healthy competition to motivate himself and ultimately enjoy the game to the fullest of potential. An example of this is Rudge. Luciano says he is an awesome player who is very supportive and kind towards other people. Definitely a good person to be around and a person who helped him improve over the last year. I can attest to this as well. My experience talking with Rudge has been very positive, especially when making the video about him. Very nice guy. In conclusion, Luciano is currently 18 years old, turning 19 in October, so he's basically ancient. But his approach to improving at Osu has been insane. As a player who never really grinded for ranks and instead focused on pushing his limits, going for insane scores, and trying to overtake people that he looked up to, his rank gradually followed behind him. For the future, Luciano wants to set new scores on fun maps and songs that he likes, while trying to hone his consistency skills to become the best player he can be. I am excited for the future of Luciano and what he has to bring to the table as one of the best all-round players in Osu.